Happy New Year, Internet. My name is John Kulas. I'm a 20-year professor of industrial and organizational psychology. I'm a 10-year user of R for statistical applications, and for the last 7 or 8 years, I've also been using R to author things like websites and books and technical reports and academic manuscripts and presentations. So every week, I get together with some collaborators on authoring projects, and we just kind of make ourselves available to anyone out there who's also interested in using R as an authoring platform. Now, this week and last week, I didn't put out any invitations because of the holidays. So it's just going to be me again, just solo tonight. But next week, I think we'll probably be able to rope in a few collaborators. I'm hopeful. I'm sure we will. So anyway, what we do every week, because the intent of this is to serve as kind of a academic type office hour. If anyone's interested and has questions or just wants to bounce ideas off of other people in terms of how to use R as an authoring platform, we're here to kind of serve as more of an interactive resource. There are a lot of static tutorials out there on YouTube and elsewhere, and you can usually kind of hunt and peck and find your way through to whatever issue you're having to problem solve your way through it. But we wanted to make ourselves available as an interactive resource as well, just in case, I don't know, in the hopes of growing a community of people who are interested in doing this. This is all couched under a broader lens of what I refer to as literate programming. I'm not sure that that's exactly how the person who coined the phrase literate programming intended it to be used, but it's just wrapping your documentation in with your analyses, basically. So as long as we're doing our analyses in R or Python, why not also do the supporting documentation, the write-up? Why not also do it in R or Python? And that's what we're doing here. And so that's a little misleading, I guess. So we don't write in R, we don't write in Python. Those are languages for the statistics, but we write in a markdown language or a markup language, something like HTML or Markdown itself or LaTeX. And so those are the languages we use to support the analyses. So every week we're here at 7 o'clock Eastern, and we hang out for about an hour. As I said, tonight, because it's just me, it might not be a full hour tonight. And in the absence of people coming by and asking questions, what we've been doing is we've been focusing on little features that are capable within these authoring platforms that we've been using. And because that exploration is fully exploratory, it's not always presented in the most easily digestible way in terms of learning. So every week, what we do is we go ahead and we do a more linearly structured presentation of what we did last week. And so last week again was just me because of the holidays. But last week, what we did was we took a look at making greeting cards using R, which was kind of fun, I thought. It's too bad. I kind of wish I would have invited other people here then. It's just the timing was not good with the holiday, but it turned out to be kind of it turned out to be neater than I thought it would be in terms of what we came up with. And then tonight, I kind of stumbled across this capability within slide decks when we were looking for Christmas seasonal cards, or in my particular context, it's a Christmas card. So this spotlighting feature, we'll spend some time on it today. I didn't play around with it at all, so we'll try to install it and see if we can get it to work, and see what kind of options are available when we try to use a spotlight on our slide deck. Okay, so let's get our transition in here, see what happened last week.
Well, our heroes have certainly had some terrible shocks in more ways than one. For just as they were about to be rescued by a Coast Guard ship, the vessel tossed a couple of depth charges at them. Rocky and Bullwinkle had disappeared. At the Coast Guard, jubilation reigned.
Good show, Carruthers. They're gone.
Thank you, sir.
Send this message to Washington. Sighted sub, sank same.
But, sir, somebody already said that.
Nonsense. If they liked it once, they'll love it twice.
Yes, sir.
But just then there was a splintering crash as something flew in through the window. Something with antlers.
On top of something with an aviator's helmet.
It's a moose and a squirrel, Admiral. They must have been blown here by the depth charge.
Then they're enemy agents. Seize them.
And our heroes were quickly subdued.
I was pretty subdued when we started.
Poor Bullwinkle. He's always getting into all kinds of antics. So, we did a few things last week that I thought were kind of neat, and the slides again are I always try to post the URL link to the slides in the comments. If I ever forget to, they're always structured the same way. Posit, company that provides our studio and Quarto and Positron and so many other resources. They also make it really easy to publish and share things. So we use the Bookdown site and then the structure. Hey Max, thanks for stopping by. Happy New Year. I was sad, Max, that you weren't here on or I didn't see you here anyway. Maybe you saw it, but your lemon popsicle answer to our survey question was very popular. So the vast majority of people that responded to the survey, I think we had like 9 or 10 respondents. There were like 70% of them were lemon popsicle. So you came up with a good distractor. So last week I thought it was quite a bit of fun. We tried a few different things to make both more static and more dynamic cards. And so there were a couple of extensions that we used. One of them, and they're linked here on the left, so Confetti, if we take a look at it, there's a description of what this extension actually does. The documentation, there's even more documentation that you can follow, and you get a little sense of this person author data. You get a little sense of this person's sense of humor. So the way he writes is kind of fun, comical. But what we did was we went ahead, and what we're seeing here on this Confetti tab, this is the full YAML for so the front matter for the Christmas card that we ended up developing. So there's a lot of stuff on here that isn't directly related to the confetti aspect, and it's not in fact it's not directly related to just the purpose of coming up with a card. A lot of this stuff was used in slide decks that I use, and it's just reused. It wasn't necessarily necessary for creating the Season's Greetings card. The parts that were necessary here I highlighted, and so on lines 9 through 18, you can actually see the specifications that are permissible using that confetti extension. Now the only one of these options that we really played with was the colors, and so we changed the confetti colors to all shades of white. If you follow the hyperlink in this comment here, that gives you that documentation that I said gives you a little bit of a sense of the extension author's sense of humor, which he seems like he's a fun guy. Not a mushroom, but a fun person. And then the actual, there's another level of specification that we need if we want to use it, and that we just put at the bottom of the YAML here, and that uses this reveal.js plugins command. Now, that was kind of something new to me, so I hadn't used this level of command before. We've used filters before, and filter is how we use the snow extension. So once it's downloaded in your project folder, wherever it is you're working on your whatever it is you're trying to produce, there's a underscore extensions subfolder that's going to be in there, and that seems to be a really slick way of kind of using some of these extensions. This person's extension, you can see it here. It's having these kind of bluish flakes. We didn't really play with and even explore whether there were many features available on this. The card itself that we created, there's a hyperlink to it. I left it up. again, season's greetings or happy Hanukkah or whatever it is that you're trying to express. For me, it was Christmas. So we did a nice font here with Merry Christmas and then best wishes for a wonderful 2025. And then the falling snow. So the falling snow is the snow extension. The confetti, if you look at your cursor and then hit the C button on your keyboard, that's the confetti effect that particular extension does. And again, the only thing we played with was the colors. So we actually just made them white to be kind of seasonal here. And so that was last week. I had a lot of fun with it. There is an actual package that someone created that creates cards. Now, this person also has a sense of humor because at least one of these was just ridiculous. But there was kind of a neat way of displaying the letter R in all of these cards that was consistent. And it sounds like what this person has done is just created a different card every year. And so this package is just a repository of those cards, and you can repeat them and you can customize them for the current year because the year that you want to display is actually an option within this package. So that was fun. That ended up, again, I wanted to do, since I wasn't inviting anyone, I wanted to do something that was a little fun and a little different. And if we keep going with these weekly sessions, maybe next year we'll revisit it and make some new cards. I just thought it was a lot of fun. So today I stumbled across this extension when I found the snow or the confetti extensions. I don't know which one it was in particular, but while exploring one of those, I came across some other options. And again, I was trying to be topical because it's New Year's Eve, and I don't know I didn't know what else seemed topical, but like Times Square, they have lots of lights and spotlights and stuff. So I thought we'd explore this spotlight, and that's probably a bit of a stretch. But I thought we'd visit the Spotlight extension. Again, there's a hyperlink to it on the slide deck. If it's just the title of this card here is hyperlinked. And so that's how I'm going to navigate to it. And it highlights the current mouse position with the spotlight. If you want to see an example, this slide deck here is kind of the standard template that Quarto uses and RStudio or Posit uses in terms of content, and they're just kind of showing you that you can bullet list things. You can have some different display options in terms of the location of the text. The extension itself is activated by the mouse, if I remember. So so you just press down on the mouse, and then you can focus on an area. Now, I've been using early in these weekly sessions. I have a cursor highlighter extension on my computer that I sometimes use, but this would be more specific to this application, just using these slides. So I think we'll go ahead and we'll try to use it. So the Reveal JS plugin, allowing to highlight the cursor mouse position with the spotlight. And so we'll go ahead and copy this Quarto add, and it'll install the extension under the extensions subdirectory. That's kind of what I was referring to with the snow extension. Let me see if I can find a good place to put this. I'm tempted to put it in a temp folder just because, again, I've mentioned this a few times, but the project folder that we use for these weekly slides is getting really kind of cumbersome. So let's go ahead and, let's do this. Let's just create an entirely new project directory. Then instead of just getting upset with this project folder, I'll get upset with my entire computer and all the stuff that's on the computer. So we'll do. I usually use GitHub, so I'm used to kind of using this version control tree tree route when I'm creating a new project. But I think we'll go ahead and make a new directory, and that directory name, that's fine. I can just put it on my desktop. We'll call it Spotlight. And I don't need a Git repository for this. This is just going to be something that we do probably this week and then forget about it. So there we go. Now I have Spotlight, and now I can, if we navigate back to the help page, I got too many tabs open. I think I lost it actually. So I'm going to do Spotlight extension Quarto and see if we can find that GitHub page. There it is. Actually comes up really quickly. So let's go ahead and copy this add option. If I remember correctly, that's done in the terminal. I don't remember if it's a terminal or console. We'll try it. We'll see. Yeah, very trustworthy, these people that did this thing that we're just exploring. I have no idea. It always does, so these extensions always give you this kind of warning that the following changes will be made, and then it's just the extension itself. Documentation, I'm a bad user and always say no to that. Okay. This will install extension on another extension subdirectory. Now what I was talking about, if we go to my Windows Explorer here and navigate to this new folder that we just created, called Spotlight. Where the heck is Spotlight? I think it should be here. I don't know why I'm getting those icons. I'm an old Windows user, so I always prefer. I must have saved it in a slightly different spot, but we should be able to see it in my lower right-hand window here, where you see the extensions folder that's added to this project directory. And information in there, it looks like there's not a whole lot. There's a little JavaScript, and then there's the YAML specification. So that underscore extensions folder can really proliferate quite a bit if you try to tweak, if you try to use a few of these different options that are now available via extensions. And again, a lot of them are just kind of fun. So the confetti, the snow. Posit, the company, does seem to keep an eye on what people are doing, because some extensions they've actually incorporated into the main platform itself. So we don't need to add extensions anymore for some of those features. Let's see, if you're using version control, simply add this extension. Okay. So we're going to add this bottom extension here, which again is a Reveal plugin. It's not in the extensions specification, but there are a lot of options here that we should be able to play with, and so I think we'll spend the next half hour or so probably doing that. Let's just see if we can get it to work. Maybe we'll try it on a blacked out presentation as well as a normal presentation. So I'm going to go to Quarto presentation in my RStudio, and we'll call it Spotlight. And the default type of presentation, if you're using these pull down windows, is a Reveal.js presentation. Those are the ones that seem the most neat. I still always render these. Just naked, so to speak, just to make sure that I don't have any sort of funny things going on with my computer or my software. So here you see Spotlight, and I have to use the arrow keys to navigate through it. I have a option on I have an option on my typical slide decks where I enable the mouse wheel as well, but that's not a default specification. So what we're supposed to do here is, I don't know what the default means. That's a little different. But the Spotlight looks like it's at the same level of specification as Reveal.js here. I'm gonna, instead of copying this whole thing, I'm just gonna copy one at a time, or three things at a time here, I guess, as we were. The format specification on all these Quarto platforms, if you want to get a little more specific with how you have things set up, the default, the way that these format specifications are coming in with the type of thing you're trying to prevent being on the same line as the format command, there's a hard return and indent that if we want to get a little more control over how things look, that tends to be the preferred styling. It works that way. And YAMLs, these front matter meta bits are notorious for being really, really picky about things like indentation. So we're going to want to take a look at that. I don't think I need the default as we have up here. But it looks like I don't actually need, I don't know, I don't think I need Spotlight as well, because this is looking a little weird to me. So let's go ahead and copy the whole thing, and then we'll come back and we'll see if we can play with that a little bit. So I don't know why, but that just looks, and it's giving me an error. Okay, well, last week was pretty error free with the Christmas cards, and I was really surprised that it was. So we're gonna get some errors here, which isn't entirely surprising. Default, I don't know why default is on there. Doesn't look like that's the actual problem. I think it's an indentation. I don't think that Spotlight, we might not even need that, because we don't have any kind of options that we're trying to play with yet. So I'm going to structure this differently than the package author did, which is probably dumb, but okay, it worked. So this would be, I might be tempted to, this person is actually fantastic. He's created a lot of stuff, and he answers a lot of questions that people have on the typical forums. Stack Overflow, I've seen him there quite a bit. But he also just put out a tutorial that I saw on using GitHub Actions with publishing things and kind of auto-updating content, and it was great. So, so Mikhail, thank you for your help. I might actually reach out to him and say that this particular specification, it doesn't seem to, the current versions of Quarto don't seem to like it. So, okay, we got our Spotlight, so let's play with it a little bit. I mean, one of the things I guess I want to play with is see if we can make it bigger. I don't know if that's an option. I haven't really looked through the list of options too much. But let's play with some of them. So the options are down here. Oh, size. Oh, the first one. That makes a lot of sense. Under a Spotlight key. So that means we're going to go back and add this now, the Spotlight. And this is what gave us a little bit of problem, a little bit of an issue with that indentation. So I am going to actually indent it differently than what the help file says to do. And then we'll try some of these options. Size. Hopefully, one of the things that would be helpful is if we had a QMD with more YAML specification as well. So it doesn't look like we have that. Example presentation. Yeah, I don't see that. Okay. So we'll just kind of feel our way through the dark here and see what that looks like. So size equals or size, looks like size colon. And then I'm going to try without double quotes or single quotes. I'm just going to try putting a number in there. Now the default specification is 60. I'm guessing that's in pixels. Kind of looks like it's probably pixels. So we'll do roughly double that. Again, for reference, currently, here's what it looks like. So it's about the diameter of three of these lines of text when things are maximized. We'll see if this works. I mean, it rendered. Oh, okay. So that's a pretty easy specification, actually, and again, fairly intuitive, I would say. Let's see how big we can get with that guy. Oh, okay. This might be. So we might have a drawback of using Spotlight. I'm pretty sure I lost my cursor there for that little bit when I was trying to navigate to the bottom of my window here. So pretty sure I lost visuals on my. Whoa, look at that. Okay, and this is also good to know. So the 300 is not a relative term, so it's going to be 300 in an absolute sense. So it looks like it's this entire size of the screen here in my smaller preview pane. But when I look at it in a larger screen, it's going to be the same actual absolute size, but relatively it doesn't look as crazy. Okay, so 300 is obviously too much. I think we'll just keep it at 180 for tonight. That's even too big, isn't it? 120. Let's do that. And I know I don't know why I'm quibbling so much about this. Size of it probably isn't all that important. I would like to see what this looks like on a dark background. So let's go ahead and give our slide deck a different theme. And I'm gonna again do another Google search because I think it's helpful for people to see how to do this from scratch. I have all kinds of slides we could go in and pillage and grab the code. But just starting from scratch, what I'm asking for is reveal themes in Quarto. Quarto's the platform that we're using. The theme of dark is probably helpful. I think night is one that I also use. So let's try theme dark. Theme dark or theme night, and see. And again, the indentation is going to be important. So the spotlight indentation works great on line 5 right now currently. Okay, so here's the dark theme. This is going to be fine for us. Ooh, okay. So if you noticed on the prior, I don't know what the default theme is. The default is default. So let's go ahead and change on line 4. Change that back to default so we can get a little closer observation on what's really happening here with Spotlight. So my cursor, I'm going to, boy, I am losing it. It disappears when I go into the slide itself, but I believe my cursor should be right around the Quarto there. Now, when I activate my mouse, couple of things happen. I do get that radius around my cursor, but you're also seeing a graying of the rest of the slides. I don't know how noticeable that is, but it looks to me like when we did the dark specification, which is, it looks fairly black. So I'd say the color of the background is almost black. It's like a really deep charcoal gray. I'm going to try to put my cursor on the same spot, Quarto. It's a lot more difficult to see, but it's actually making that background even darker. So instead of lightening up, which I might expect it to do when it's this dark to begin with, it's actually making it darker. So it looks like there's a filter being placed on the entire slide, regardless of what the background is or not. Okay, well, kind of cool. I could see definitely using this. I might install it on my normal slide decks and just keep it there as an option. I thought about doing that with confetti too, just because the Christmas card was so fun. But that one, you need to have kind of like insider knowledge for that, because unless your cat walks. Oh, I didn't invite any guests, but I can do my cat guess here. If your cat walks across your keyboard, you might get some. You might actually get some confetti being tossed, I guess. But other than that, like, how often are you randomly going to just hit the C on your keyboard? So, anyway, this one's less insider baseball, I guess. This one is, you don't really need to know that there's a secret, because everyone uses their mouse and left button. Oh, this isn't the help page I want. We wanted the help page for this Spotlight package itself. So size, we've played with. I'm going to try to get these on the almost same screen here. Lock pointer inside canvas. So this might be why we're having an issue, I'm guessing, with my mouse disappearing. I don't know. It defaults to false, so we'll try true and see what sort of difference we have there. And again, I think I need to pop these out. Okay, so I'm seeing more of my cursor now, but it's still disappearing. So to show your cursor press, this is okay. If that's not sign that we're in a simulation, I don't know what is. But my computer just literally said, hey, if you want to see your cursor, press the escape button. Did anyone else see that? Am I crazy? Like, my computer just said that. Thank you, computer. Very nice computer. So it showed up for a second, and then now there it is again. It showed up for a second, and then it disappeared again. So I don't know. There definitely is a little wonkiness here with the cursor. Generally speaking, I think I do like to see where my cursor is on these presentations. But I don't know. I like the Spotlight as well. So that particular option wasn't something that wowed me all that much, except I can't find. Boy, I'm really losing my cursor now. So we'll leave that one on. I don't know that it didn't. Oh, let's take it off. I'll take that one off. Toggle Spotlight on, mouse down. What? These are really long command names, are they not? Toggle Spotlight by holding down the mouse key. Well, that's what I've been doing. So I'm guessing this is just probably a permanent kind of thing, instead of he needs to have shorter names on these. How about just toggle? Default is true. We'll set that to false and see what happens here. Again, my expectation is it's just going to be a spotlight now where the cursor is. Nope, that's not what happened. That just turned the whole thing off. So I don't know why you would want to do that. I'll try true to make sure that that did what appears it did. I don't know why you would. Yeah, okay. That one to me seems a little odd. I'm sure he's got a reason for including it. I just don't get it. I guess, if you. Okay, I do get it. So if you had a slide deck and you repurpose YAMLs, as I'm sure most people that do this sort of thing do, I do. I repurpose the same meta specifications for how I want my presentation to look. So if you did that, and this would be like a light switch command that you could just come here and turn the whole doggone thing off, but keep the specifications in there if you wanted them. So I'm guessing that that's what that's for. Key code pressed and held to turn on Spotlight. What the heck? I don't know. I have no idea what this does. Key code, it kind of almost seems like we're supposed to give it like a macro key or something, doesn't it? I think we'll set it to true. Seems like it shouldn't be true, but it should maybe be a value. Okay, I'm not seeing a ton of difference on that one. So the size is definitely the winner of the options so far. Spotlight can be crosshair. The cursor when the spotlight is on. Oh, looks like we can make it look like a gun scope or something. Let's try that. For those of you watching from Texas, this will be for you. Now I'm gonna put it in double quotes just because it's in double quotes on the help page. We'll come, if this blows up, we'll come back and change that. Yeah, I don't see any crosshairs. Again, I'm losing my entire cursor, so it's a little tough to tell. But we'll take double quotes off and see what it thinks about that. Okay, still nothing. So if we have a little extra time, I think what I might do is I might take a look at this whole Reveal.js thing. It's way bigger than Quarto or Posit. So one of the things that Quarto has done is they've found other open source platforms to do things that might be of interest to people using an authoring platform like this, and they've taken them and incorporated them into their Quarto product. And so Reveal.js is out there and it exists, and there's a big development and support community beyond R or Quarto or Python or RStudio or Posit. There's Reveal.js people out there. Mermaid and GraphViz, those diagramming options that we played with a few weeks ago, same thing. So there's actually quite a few things like that. Beamer, I believe, is another presentation style that kind of has its own community. So we might go and take a look and see if we can see some of the source code or some of the outside of RStudio. We can see how those things work. Presenting cursor. The cursor when spotlight is off, and then presentation mode. Okay, I might give this guy a little bit of feedback, just because some of these things are a little unclear. And I did, when he put out that really helpful tutorial on using GitHub Actions, I did do a little exploration into his background just to see what discipline he was associated with. And I don't believe English is his native language, so that might be part of the issue too. So again, these things don't seem to be affecting too much, and it may be that they need to be used in concert with each other, so not just we're just going one by one. And it sounds like some of these may actually require a linkage between other options. Enable presentation mode. Oh. So presentation mode, they might be talking about. Might be talking about default is true. Let's see if we can turn it off. They might be talking about the kind of some of the different ways to display your slides. So I think we'll set this to false, if I can spell false. And at least size works, I guess. And that, to me, that's the most important one. So what the presentation mode may be, wow, I'm really losing my cursor. I had to use my hotkeys on my keyboard there to press the letter M to get to this option here with, oh, I think it looks like that may have actually enabled it to be used in this preview panel if you're in the speaker view. Now we can see if it doesn't, what I do in speaker view is not, it's not echoed, or I'm not getting a parallel effect in the presentation itself. So I'm guessing that may be something that we just turned off, or maybe it just doesn't work. So let's take a look at that again. Here's my presentation mode. That's still not showing up. So, so this is I don't use presentation mode, but this is something that we would have to do a lot more exploration into these options to see if we could get the presentation mode spotlight to echo. Currently, currently we're not using those specifications in an effective way. Disable selecting in presentation mode. I'm not sure what that means. We'll try it, I guess. Let me turn off my... And like we said previously, it's possible that some of these are kind of interfering with each other or need mutual specification. So disabling user select, default is true, we'll set that to false. And the presentation mode language is throwing me a little bit. I think he's referring to what the slide deck itself refers to as speaker view. Or it could be this. It could be the fact that that makes sense. It could be the fact that we're not able to select here. Yeah. So that is something that I can see that being important to either enable or disable. So I'm not able to access this hyperlink. I'm not able to access my menu in the lower left-hand corner there. So that one, I don't think we want to have that on. Let's see if now I can select. Still not. Okay, so I'm still having problems with the selection. Let's see if maybe we can, if there's an option here where we can turn that on. Lock pointer. Again, I'm guessing that some of these things work best in concert with each other. So 14 minutes left. Let's come back to that if we have time. Transition in milliseconds. Fade in and out. All right. That one looks like it might be something that is of interest. So default's 100 milliseconds, huh? So let's do a full second, see if it takes that. Ooh, yeah, I like that. I mean, that it definitely had an effect there. So we're doing the the spotlight and the background don't seem completely linked. No, I guess they are. So the darkening of the background and the lightening of the spotlight look like the fade effects are about the same. Uh, let's put it at 0 and see what happens there. If we did a negative number, maybe it would anticipate the spotlight before we hit the button. Yeah, I think I like that little bit of transition. I'm probably correct with just keeping it at the default there. That seemed to be pretty smooth. Yeah, I like that. 1/10 of a second. Use as pointer. Maybe this is what we're having a hard time with. Maybe this is why. Maybe this is why we're losing our cursor. Feels like that should be a song, losing our cursor. Yikes. Well, it did not do what I thought it would do. I guess that is a laser pointer. So if you wanted to do that, you'd probably change the size, right? If we change the size and then use as a laser pointer, there we go. Now it's kind of more typical. One of the Quarto extensions that Posit did add that used to be an extension, but now it's built into this is called Chalkboard, and so you can write on these slides. I don't know if we've played with it at all over the course of these weeks, but this kind of reminds me a little bit of that, except it's not etching the slide, right? It's just only showing you that dot when being asked for, and then when the dot goes away, then the all kind of memory of where the dot was goes away as well. So pointer, that's kind of, oh, point of color. This makes sense. So point of color. See if we can put a hex code in there. Default is red. Yeah, we see that. We'll try Sacre Blue first and see if that does anything. Yeah, pretty easy. So there's blue. There's kind of a funny hex color called Badass. It's not really Badass, but it's BADA55. Now it doesn't look like it's going to take that, so let's try double quotes. See if it does take it. If it works, this should be kind of like a dirty yellow, basically. So I think it's technically a cyan, but there we go. It did work. We got a badass pointer color. So a couple things I really like about this. The spotlight itself is neat, but this pointer option as well, I kind of like that. Now this is only going to be active, obviously, within these presentations. The one thing I would like to spend a little more time on is trying to figure out if we could recapture our cursor, because we're losing it. And so here we'll go to the Reveal.js help pages themselves instead of just Quarto. This is just a Reveal.js plugin, and see if we have any sort of more commentary here regarding things. No, you'll see the languages are different, specifications. But let's see if we can find, there's a little more documentation here, it looks like, with comments on these options. So I'm glad we came here. This is spelling out some of the things that we were curious about. Default is false, true, locks the mouse pointer inside the presentation. There is, by design, no spotlight cursor. Is this what's going on? Toggle spotlight, we know that one. Keypad didn't really do much for us. Choose the cursor. Again, this one did not do anything for us. We did try crosshair, but again, we're not getting any cursor anyway. So we didn't get a pointer, we didn't get a finger, we didn't get a crosshair. Let's maybe try one more time, see if we can get our cursor back. Is it this lock pointer canvas? I'm not sure that. So I shouldn't complain about our maybe non-native English speaker developer for Quarto extension, because it looks like these commands are just taken from the larger Reveal community here. But so we were going to try this as true, right, and see if maybe the cursor is a little easier to find. Nope, not easier to find. No, I think I've completely lost it. All right, I lost my cursor completely. Oh, that's weird. It's showing up on... Oh, I'm locked. That's why. I'm locked inside the doggone... I was locked inside the presentation. Hey, it worked. All right. We don't want to do that. So I think I'm going to take that one off. Okay, cool. Well, I think we're out of time. People have things to do. So, Happy New Year, everybody. Max, thanks for stopping by if you're still around. Alicia, thanks for the cocoa. It's good. It's better than the Aldi stuff. It tastes really good, actually. So, all right. Happy New Year, everybody. Next week, we'll be back and probably with collaborators, and we'll tackle something else here using R to author.